Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the part 4 of building your online portfolio. And in today's video, we're going to build the About Me section, this one in here that you are seeing. And last video, we just finished the header section, this one in here. I just added some style that I forgot to add in the last video. So if you want to start from here, like I have this working here, I just put some links with the files that you can start from here if you want to just continue to follow me and make sure that you have the latest files. So just download these files, which are in the description down below. And yeah, let's build now this About Me section. Right, so if we go here to our index.html where we left last video, let's create now a comment for the About Me section. So I'm gonna just write down About Me section. Okay, so in here we want to have like a div, and this div will have a class of about me, about dash me. And what we're gonna have in there, we're gonna have a about me title. So we can put h2 title about me. We're gonna need an image, and we're gonna need this section in here. So this is how we're gonna divide this section. Whenever you are building something like this, you need to try to divide everything. Like, for example, this section in here, you see all this white section. This will be our div that we just built in here, our div with a class about me. This will be the main container. Then we're going to divide, okay, inside of this div with a class about me, which is like this big box that you can see around here. Inside, let's put one box in here on the top. This one in here, which will have the About Me title. So About Me title is with the h2 element, which by default it's a display block, which means we'll take the full width of the page. So that's what we want, you know. This About Me title will have like the full width of the page. Then in here, we're going to break down the page into two boxes. One box in here, as I'm showing with my mouse, one box on the left for our image, and one box on the right for our text in here and for our Hire Me button. So let's just code this in here quickly. So inside, like I said, first we have our div with the class about me, and inside of this big box, we're going to put another div. This one is going to be with a class call left. It's like a column on the left. Oops, I didn't want to do this. I want to do this one. And we're going to create another div, and this one is going to be with a class of column right. Okay, right. So in here, inside of the column on the left, we're going to put an image. We're going to put an image, and this image is going to... So the image that I'm going to use, first of all, I'm going to use this image in here. Just going to copy it, go to my folder, image, and paste it. So this image will have the name of Telmo's. Just put Telmo. Yeah. Telmo. And what kind of image is this one? Is a JPEG. Okay. So let's go to our code editor, and the source, the path link for this image is img/telmo.jpg, and this is the alt is going to be the text Telmo photo. Oops, Telmo photo. And remember this path in here, it's because It's inside of this folder img, and inside of the folder img is my image telmo.jpg. There you go. So if we save this, we go to our browser. Let me just like try to put this together so you guys can see. So you guys can see better. Okay. Like this should be fine. So if we save this and we go in here, just increase the width of this a bit. This is our actual page. There we go. Look at this. This is because, look, my image is so big that it's going to look all messed up. So what can we do to fix this? Right, I want our image, no, first of all, let's put some sizes on our div with a class of column left, and a size for our div with a class column right. So what we want to do is, first of all, this div in here on the background, this div with a class about me, you see, we want this div to have the full width of the page, the full width of the body of the page. So for that, we're going to our style.css, and we're going to put, let me just copy this one, and I'm going to put in here so we don't get lost. I'm going to put about me section, right? And in here, I want my div with a class about me to have a width of 100%. When I say it's going to have a width of 100%, it's going to be a width of the parent element. So which one is the parent element of our div with a class about me? So in here, you see this line. If we go back once, it's the body. The body is the parent. So this div will have the same width, the full width of the parent element, which is the body. And now we want, okay, so if this is the 100% for the about me, I want that the div with a class column left and the div with a class column right, to each one of them have 50% width. Right, so if we go in here now and we're going to put about me, and inside of the about me I want my column left, and if you put a comma and you're going to put about me col right, forgot to put a dot in here. Well, like I mentioned before, when you are putting a comma in here, it means that you are targeting both this about me with a column left and about me with a column right. You are targeting both at the same time. So you're going to put a width of 50%. So this will be 50% of the parent. The parent is about me. If we save, it's still the same, right? But now I want my about me, my column left, and inside of my column left, my image, I want to have a max width of 100%. So what's the difference of a width, setting up a width and a max width? A width, it means that you are saying like, okay, this element is going to have this specific width, 100%, 50%, or whatever. If you say like it's a max width, it means that the width can vary, you know. And for example, for this example, when we are targeting our image, which is inside of the about me section, inside of the column left, and is the image, and we say, okay, this image will have the width, a maximum of 100%. 100% of this column of the left. So it's not going to be bigger. So it's going to fit right inside. So if we now refresh the page, there you go. You see? Now it's not bigger than the column itself that we wanted. And now we want as well these two columns to be floating to the left. It means that it's always going to be pushed to the left, and they will always make sure they have the 50% each. So if I'm going to put these, I'm going to refresh the page. Okay. Right, so this about me is going to have this color. Let's put it in here. Make sure we have everything fine. So about me, and we want to target our H2, is going to have this color. Right, so if we refresh the page, you can see here it's about me, and we have the image, we have the right color now. And what else do we want? Let me just like resize this a little bit. We want that title, so we want all of our text inside to be text align. Just gonna try in here text align center. Text align center. If we refresh the page, there you go, it's our about me in here. And now we want to put a text transform center. Oh, not center, uppercase. So if you're going to put in here, there you go. Now you got the about me with the uppercase, even though we put it in here in a lowercase. This means that whatever you're going to put inside of this H2 title, with this CSS property text transform uppercase is going to transform everything on uppercase. Right, okay, so now we need to put the second section in here on the right column, and we're going to put H4 with the name Telmo Sampaio. So we're going to put H4 and Telmo Sampaio, and then we're going to put 2 paragraphs with some text. So this is some text that I'm going to put in here, and this is another text that we can put in here. And let's just save, go in here, refresh the page, and there you go. Okay, so now we are missing our button. Right, so now we are missing a anchor element for our button. So just gonna put an anchor in here, and it's gonna be hire me. I don't know what I write there before. Hire me now. Okay, so hire me now. Oops, hire me now. Hire me now. Was it in all capital? Yeah, that's fine. So if we save it, refresh, there you go, our button. We are going to style this now in a second. Just like push this a little bit so we can see better. Right. It's getting close, guys. It's getting close. Right. Okay, so let's give a bit of because when I said, remember about this kind of widths that I said before. I said that this column in here on the left is going to have 50% of the page. Look how I'm resizing the page, and it's always taking 50%. That's why using percentages instead of using actual pixels to set the width of the page is so much better, because the resizing the windows, like for mobile, for tablets, it helps you so much. Okay, so I want now to have some padding in here, because I don't want this like completely close to the second one. So I'm going to say in here on my column on the left, so I'm going to say inside of the about me, my column left, I want to have a padding on the left of, let's say, 5% of the page. and a padding on the right 5% as well. There you go. You see now this space in here, this white space, it lets the image like not be completely close to the other one. Okay, so this section in here, now we need to style our button, and for that, let's see what we put in here in this button. Okay, so we put in this button, so is about me A, because it's to target our anchor, and I'm going to say I want the background color. I want the background color to be what was the color in here? This one. So I want my background color to be this one, and I want to have a padding. So I'm going to put in here as well. Let me save this, refresh. Okay, there you go. So you have like this padding in here is on the top and bottom. So top 10 pixels, bottom 10 pixels, and on the right and left 25 pixels. So 25 pixels on the left and right. I want the text decoration, you see these kind of underline, I want it to disappear. So I'm going to put like text decoration none. So refresh the page. Oops, I'm putting this on the wrong section. It should be in here. Let's save, refresh the page. It's gone. I want the color to be white. So I can just put FFF. I could put this FFF or actually just white, like just like this. It's the same. And I want now this button to have a kind of a border radius, so it gets like this button. So this border radius that we used in here, where is it? This border radius 20 pixels. So let's go in here and put a border radius 20 pixels. Let's refresh the page, and there you go. Something missing in here now. Maybe it's because of the font size. So we got the margin. What's the font size that we have in here? So font size 17 pixels. Maybe I forgot to put this. So font size 17 pixels. So this is our actual font size. Let me refresh. No, it's the same. Something missing in here. If I go in here again, and okay, let's go to styles. I got the display inline block. I need to put this as well. So the probably is this display inline block. Yeah, there you go. Because I completely forgot. I explained this before about the display inline blocks and not. So yeah, so now it's looking fine. And now we need to add this kind of underline in here that you can't even target. Look, I'm trying to target it, like select it, and you can't, this in here. So this is like a pseudo class called after, and that's what we're going to do. Okay, first of all, before we do this, let's just give some margins in here on the top and on the bottom of our about me section. So our about me, if I put something like this, a padding on the top of 70 pixels and a padding on the bottom of 70 pixels as well. Something wrong in here. What's this? Let me see. So refresh the page. It's not working. Ah, right, because I put this. I forgot to put this in here. We don't want this text align center in here. Right, so in here now we have a padding on the top. Let me just like do the developer tools. So if we select our div with a class about me, there you go. And in here, so we have like a padding. If we go in here to compute it, we have a padding on the top of 70 pixels and a padding on the bottom of 70 pixels. But just so you guys notice something, let me try to explain something about the floats that probably you guys missed. If I put, for example, for the About Me section, a background color of blue, let's say this is just an example. I refresh the page and look, our About Me section, which should have all of these inside, and now it's just taking these. That's because we put all my column on the left, this one in here, my column on the left, and my column on the right. I put them like floating to the left. So when something is like floating, it's going to get out, it's going to be inside, but floating out of the container. So the container is not actually taking it in consideration. So how are we going to fix this? So for this, we just need to put on About Me, and we're going to put after. We want to add a content that is empty. We want that content to be display block, and we want to clear the floats after. So we clear both. It means clear right and left for the floats. If we save this, look, now all our section, it's like it's containing even our floats, even though they are like floating out of the div. So this is for clearing the floats. So we got this right. We can remove the background now. There you go. And we should add now this kind of section in here for just like this. So if we go in here, we want these to have so if we go in here, I want this About Me H2, and I want it after. So it means it's after. This is a pseudo element. I'm just going to put this in here. I don't want this, and I don't want this, and I'm going to explain this like really slowly to see if you guys can follow it. So if we refresh, let's just see. All right, it's in here. That's because we need to put in our actually H2. I need to put a position relative. There you go. Now it's fine. So I'm going to explain these kind of position relative and absolute. If you know this kind of position absolute and relative, basically you can just like manipulate elements on the page, like put them in the exact place that you want to put. So I'm just going to give an example in here. So after this div About Me section, I'm going to create, imagine like another section. I'm going to put with a class of example. And okay, so I'm going to target this in here. So this is just going to be an example, yeah, to explain the position relative and absolute. So let's say this is the example section. And I'm going to target my example that I just created, and I want it to have a width of 100%. So it's going to have full width of the page. I want to have a background color of blue, and I want to have a height, because right now there is nothing, so the div is going to be empty, like invisible. So I want to have a height of 300 pixels, let's say, for example. If we refresh the page, there you go, our div that we create. It's empty, but I gave it a width and a height. So we can see something in here. So now I'm going to put something inside of this div, like I'm going to create another div in here with a class of a box, for example. This is also empty div, so by default it shouldn't display anything, but I'm going to put in here. So inside of my example, I have my div with a class box, and I want this div to have a width of let's say 150 pixels and a height of 150 pixels and a background color of red. If we refresh the page, there we go. You know, by default, all the HTML elements, they start all the time here on the left and on the top. Now, just pay attention to this. So how useful the position relative and absolute it is. So if you want to move this background, this div with the background color red around in this page as you want, you need to put on the container, first of all, our container in this situation, for example, is the div with the class example. So we go in here to this div with the class example, we're going to put position relative. And now, in the actual div that we want to move around, I'm going to put position absolute. And now I'm going to give two coordinates. I can give a left and bottom or right bottom. You can only give like one top and one bottom, or one left and one right. So for example, right now I want this div to be in here more or less like here on the right. So I'm going to say I want this div to be on the right 0. So this is the right. 0 is in here on the right, and I want it to be on away from the top like 30 pixels. If I refresh the page, now this div is in here on the right 0 and away from the top 30 pixels. Let's say, for example, that I want it to be away from the top now 100 pixels. Before I refresh the page, it's going to be away from the top, which is in here, is going down. Let's refresh. There you go. And now, if I want, for example, to push it away from the right, I want it to be away from the right like 30 pixels. This is just an example. Now it's away from the right 30 pixels. Let's say now I want it to be away from the right 600 pixels. Refresh the page, and now it's away from the right 600 pixels. So as you can see, I used in here right and top, but I could use bottom. So for example, let's say I want it to be away from the bottom 0. Now you see it's away from the bottom 0, is really connected in here to the bottom. And if I say, for example, now instead of right, I'm going to put left 100 pixels. So is away from the left 100 pixels in here, and is on the bottom 0, like I put in here. So as you can see, you can move things around as you want. So if you guys understood this now, you need to put first a position relative on the container element, which in this situation was this div with a class example. And in the actual div that you want to move around, you need to put a class, a position of absolute, and then you can give it a position left bottom or left top. You can only give 2 coordinates, yeah? Remember these. You can't put 4. You can't put left something and right something. You either going to choose left or right, or you're going to choose top or bottom. Okay, so now if you understood this more or less, I'm not sure if I was clear enough. Let's go back to here to our about me, where I put this after. So where was it? It was about me h2 after. we're going to put a content that is empty, but we want is empty, like there is no text or anything. With a position of absolute, so we need to put our position relative on our H2. And we're going to say, okay, this element is going to have a width of 80 pixels. Look, this is the 80 pixels that we put. If I was going to put in here, for example, 150 pixels, you see, now it's like this. This is the height. Now I have 2 pixels, but I could have 8 pixels. You see, it's going to be thick now. So I'm just going to go back as it was. And then you're going to put the position. Position is going to be left. So it's going to be, the position is going to be 50% away from the left to be centered. So it's correct. This margin left, I don't know why I put this. I think we don't even need it. We need this, yeah. So this is, right. So this was because if I have a width of 80 pixels, it means this is 80 pixels. It's away from the left 50%. So 50, this is going to be 50% of the page. But now I need to center this little bit. And since this is 80 pixels, I want to move it 40 pixels to the left. So if I put minus 40 pixels, instead of pushing this away to the right, which the margin usually does, it pushes to the other side. So it's going to be centered. There you go. And then you're going to put bottom 0 pixels, so it's fine, it's from the bottom, and the background color to have the color that we have in here. What else do we miss? Let's just give these a margin top, a margin bottom, I mean, of 30 pixels maybe. And yeah, so right now, what we can do, we can put on this actual button that we create, we can create like a hover. So if we do a hover in here, I want the background color to be white. I want the color of the text to be this color in here. So that's fine. And I want the border. I want the border to be 1 pixel solid and the green color as well. Okay. Maybe we can give it like some background color a bit. Yeah, something like this. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so I guess that this is for now for this about me section. Oh, I forgot to mention like something that is really important about the widths and everything. So I completely forgot to mention this. So just so you guys learn this really well, it's like this. So let's go back in here to our example. Let's just get rid of all this stuff. The width is fine, background color is fine. I'm going to remove just this. I'm going to remove this. And so just so I can explain how the width and the percentages, everything works. Let's say you see this div with a class example, this blue that we created before. I put in here initially that this width is going to be 100%. So when I say it's going to be 100%, it's going to be 100% of the parent. So the parent is our body. You see in here, that's why I like to indent. You see all these spaces, it's called indentation. So you know what element is inside of other element. So this div with a class example is a child of the body. So the body, it takes 100% of the page. So if I say in here that this div is going to have, this div example is going to have a width of 100%, is going to take all the width of the parent element. If I say, for example, now this width is going to be 50%, look, now it's just going to be 50% of the body because it's the parent element. Here we go. This is our div with the class example. This is our body. And I'm saying that it's going to have 50%, so that's it. If now, for example, I'm going to say this div in here with the class of box, which is inside of our div with the class example, I'm going to say, okay, this div with the class box, I want the width to be 50%. So if I refresh, it's going to be 50% of this parent element in here. If I say 20%, it's going to be 20% of this div in here with the class example. So it always goes to the parent. It's going to set up the width in a percentage accordingly to the parent. So this is just so you guys understand it correctly. It's not just put like, oh, I want this 100%, but it's not 100%. Because look, if in here I'm going to put this div with a width of 100%, it's going to be 100%, but of this div with a class example. So it's not going to take the full width of the page. It's going to take the full width of the parent. This is just so you guys can understand. I think that's it for this video, guys. I hope you could understand a little bit about the widths. And another thing. Oh my God, I usually like completely forget about this. If I put in here, let's say 50%. Yeah, so there you go. And now I also put padding 50 pixels. So this is going to be a padding in here, but I'm going to put a margin of 100 pixels. Okay, so I'm just going to put margin right. Margin right. I think it's because I put this thing in here. This is what I want to explain that I forgot to tell before. Let's save this. Yeah, okay, so that's why. This is something that I completely forgot to tell you about the box sizing. So in here, just get rid of this. I think that's the problem. Yeah. So in here, I'm saying, okay, this is something that it might not be working for you guys, but just look at this. I said that this div in here with a class box is going to have 50% width of this, but I put it now in here padding 50 pixels. So if we go in here with our developer tools, let's select this. So where is it? It's going to be computed. So it's going to take 50%, but it's still going to take now, I just want to put a padding right. It's going to have, sorry again. Yeah, so this is what, look at here. It's going to have 50% of the width, but then it's going to be increased by 50 pixels of the padding that we put. But we want these, okay, I want the element to be with the padding and the margins and whatever to be a maximum of 50 pixels. I don't want to go over it. Because in here, as you can see, it's going over the 50 pixels and I don't want that. I want it to be exactly 50%. So for that, we are putting here on the top this selector, which is a star. Star, it means that it's going to select all the elements on your page. And you're going to put something like this, box sizing border box. This means that all the elements that you are putting on, this is going to have 100% or this is going to have 50% or whatever. This means that it's going to take in consideration all the padding and everything, and it's going to be maximum size of these 50 pixels. No more, no less. It's going to be exactly that. So if I refresh, look how it's going to be less now. Now it's exactly 50 pixels. And this is what I wanted to show you guys. So if you know these kind of things, it's going to be so helpful for you in the future. So yeah, now I really think that that's it for this video, guys. And I really hope you like it. And I know that I'm still just starting with this kind of thing, like trying to explain for everyone, like from scratch. It's hard, even though I know these kind of things, and for everyone, you know, when you are starting to teach people, it's hard in the beginning to express yourself. So I really hope that I will get better with these kind of tutorials, and I just hope that some of you will understand, and yeah, we'll take something out of this. We'll learn something out of this, because I really just want to help you, all of you that you are starting out. You don't have to pay a single dime to anyone. You can just like learn for these kind of YouTube tutorials that are online for free. And yeah, that's it. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comments down below. The next video is going to be about the My Skills section. I hope I can upload it just tomorrow. And that's it, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video.